Hey everybody, it's Merkel, and today we're going to go over blacksmithing in Legion. Now, blacksmithing, of all of the professions, kind of had, I would say, the most boring quests. I mean, it was fun. Some of them are funny. There's a quest that's, one of the quests is named Engineers. They're not completely useless. I thought that was pretty good. But other than that, all the blacksmithing quests are boring. They only one takes you into a dungeon, and the rest of them are just go out and kill this or collect that. And of all the quests, this one takes a lot of supplies, right? You need supplies. You need ores to buy recipes, and you need um foxflower, which is an herbalist thing. It's kind of weird, but it's one of the things you need. So foxflower may be the most expensive of all the herbs. You only need 10, right? But I imagine it'll be more expensive than the other herbs simply because of this reasoning. If you're the only herbalist on your server that's collecting foxflower, I would say jack the prices up while it's early because people will be willing to pay a lot more for it. Just a kind of a way you can abuse it, I guess. But yeah, Foxflower, even though it's only 10, I could see people paying, easily 100 gold each just because they want to get it really fast to do these quests. So as for the patterns, there's not a lot, right? There's only two fun items in this for blacksmiths, and it's this demon steel stirrups and the laystone hoof plates. The laystone hoof plates give you a 20% mount increased speed, and I'll go ahead and show you them because I had a pair of them. And it's just, I mean, you move 20% faster, so it's nothing phenomenal, right? It's just a little speed increase. But the Demon Steel stirrups are a lot more useful. They're like the, back in garrison mode where you had the stables and you could interact with stuff if you had the stable. This is the same thing. You can interact with objects while you're mounted, so it's really useful for that matter if you're like a gatherer or something. Now it only lasts 2 hours if you're not a blacksmith, but if you're a blacksmith it lasts 8 hours like the laystone hoof plates. And it's not too expensive. This is the equivalent of 16 fell slate, which is the rare ore, 16 fell slate and 8 laystone ore. So not super expensive. If you're a blacksmith, obviously it's a lot better because that's 8 hours. You're getting 4 times the use anybody else would. But if you're an herbalist and you plan to go out and collect a lot of herbs, this would be really good even if you're not, your other profession isn't blacksmithing, because 2 hours of never having to dismount would be nice, right? That it is useful. So these are the two useful items, speed boost and demon steel stirrups. Now I was trying to complete, and I unfortunately can't because I can't do the raids, right? I needed to do one raid and I would be able to complete this, but I was trying to complete the let's see, this right here, it says Broken Isle Pathfinder. I was gonna complete it, but I can't do Lore Master of Legion because I can't do Good Sir Martin, because I can't do Growing Crisis. Growing Crisis is impossible for me to complete unless I get into a raid, which I can't get into. So I was going to see if they stacked, because the 20% from that might stack with whatever speed bonus this exploration, the Broken Isle Pathfinder might give. It says increased mount speed in the Broken Isle, but I don't know if they'll stack. It would be cool to see, but unfortunately I can't complete it. So other than that, it's mostly armor. Just armor. All the demon steel is your 815 stuff, and they cost a lot. The plate gear is by far the most expensive of any of the gear that I've seen in terms of cost to create them. It's just absurd how much some of this costs. Like, the helmet is the worst. It costs 6 Eye of Prophecy. Now, jewel crafting gems in this expansion are a lot rarer that I found. I found a better means to obtain them, and you'll see that in a video shortly after this one. But other than, I mean, jewel crafting gems in general are just super rare this expansion. I did a whole lot of prospecting, and I got junk for gems. So unless they increase the chance that you're gonna get gems, this is absurd. How much this is gonna cost to make, and a lot of them. I mean, you know, not all of them are crazy price, but this helmet of all the pieces, I don't know why it's so much more expensive to create than anything else. Honestly, you know, they make that joke that engineers aren't completely useful. You'd be better off going with the engineering helmet and taking that as your profession just so you could make that. Because, yeah, I don't know why you would. The rest of it is okay, but that helmet, even if it's 850, that's just crazy expensive. So, as for the unlearned, there's only a couple that I haven't learned, and all they are relics. So, the blacksmith has 4 relics. Most professions only had 2. But the blacksmith has 4, so they do have more relic options than any other class. They'd be able to sell those maybe to people that are just trying to get their item level up of their artifacts. So you'll have more options to sell relics than any other class or profession, and all of them are mainly obtained from just people. You know, it says go out and buy it from here. This one's a heroic drop. This is from a guy in Dalaran, and another reputation one. So the relics aren't that hard to obtain. But finally, the most important part of blacksmithing this expansion, and it's just awesome to me of anything else that you could possibly do, is the fell core harness. Now, what gets me the most, and I don't understand this, is the leatherworking mount is really cool too, right? We saw the leatherworking mount, and it is an awesome mount, right? It's awesome. I love the leatherworking's moose, but it's not tradable, which is stupid. I mean, that's stupid in a way that if you don't like leatherworking, you're still going to have to level a leatherworker just for the sake of getting the mount if you're a collector. But the Fell Core Hound Harness is tradable. Oh my gosh, it's tradable. So look at this. This is a fairly high cost, which is reasonable because, I mean, it should be expensive to make. This is the equivalent of 200 fell slate and 100 laced stone ore. So not super high, but fell slate is hard to come by. I'm not going to lie. I haven't, you know, even when I was collecting it, I was not getting a lot of it. It's so much rarer than laystone. Really, really rare compared to laystone. 10 of these. This is the daily mining quest, world quest thing. It pops up as a world quest, and it's, you know, it's the only way to obtain it, and you'll get 5 from it when you complete one of the world quests for it. So it would take 2 world quests, and you'd have 10. It'll be a fairly expensive object. I estimate, you know, Infernal Brimstone to be anywhere from 500 to 1,000 gold each because of their rarity. And the same with Fellhide. This is the world quest only with skinning, and you get 5 of them every world quest. And there you go, the same scenario. I expect that it'll go from anywhere 500 to 1,000 gold each. So you could look at this part right here as being upwards of 20,000 gold. 50 Blood of Sargeras. I've collected roughly, I think I've only used maybe, let's say 50. So in the entirety of the time that I've been on the beta, I've collected a little over 400 Blood of Sargeras. 50 is a huge chunk because, let's look at the blade. I've spent 15 wow, I've spent 15 days on the beta. So if you take that into account, to collect 50 Blood of Sargeras, you might look at yourself spending upwards of at least a day, or I mean, it depends on how many heroics you're running, things like that. You have to be grinding hardcore, but you could spend at least a day collecting 50 Blood of Sargeras. So I estimate like the Blood of Sargeras cost maybe being around, you know, people will charge, let's say, I think 200 gold at minimum each is a reasonable number. 200 gold sounds reasonable. I know it'll be a lot higher early on, so Blood of Sargeras might be reasonably estimated at like 500 gold each starting out, but I think it'll level out to about 200 per Blood of Sargeras used. So overall, this mount costs, in estimation, at least 40k to make, just to make it, and that's going by, you know, how I think the prices will be after about 2 weeks of Legion being released. So really, really expensive. I mean, 40k isn't a super expensive, but I could see the mount selling for upwards of 100 to 150k very early on. To top it off, this pattern is obtained by killing. Let's open up the adventure log here. And I think he's in Nighthold. Tichondrius. It drops off Tichondrius. It drops off him. It doesn't say anything, but I found out that it is dropped off of Tichondrius because someone stated that there were 2 blacksmiths in the group, and both of them received this off of him. So, yes, Tichondrius is the dropper of this pattern. It was their only the first kill, so I assume it's 100% when you kill Tichondrius. And that's a really nice looking mount. I mean, you know, let's look at that. Fell Steel. Okay, what is it? I forgot the name already. Fell Core Hound Harness, but it's called Steelbound Harness. So let's take a look at that baby again. Steelbound Devourer. And yes, it's a Core Hound, but it's green. And who doesn't like green? I mean, look at that. Wouldn't Murgle just look great perched up on top of that with a nice green transmog? But anyways, yes. It's tradable. It's awesome. And I think it'll sell for a whole lot. And Blood of Sargeras, it really depends on the price of Obliterum. If we're going to have to... When Obliterum is finally stabilized, then we'll know what the value of Blood of Sargeras is. Because a lot of the ways that you'll obtain Obliterum is through Blood of Sargeras. You get more Obliterum Ash destroying things with Blood of Sargeras in it. And I will be making a guide also on all of the... I'm going to craft a whole bunch of stuff and see what is the most cost efficient for obtaining Obliterum. So we'll be able to see what an average price of Blood of Sargeras might be too. So anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.